everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast, where it is your hosts, Scott and Mike. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about two trailers and then one announcement video. I guess the best way to describe it. And then we're going to move on to talking about Jessica Jones Season 3, and then talk about the latest two-episode release of Daredevil Born Again, and then end, end with a character spotlight from Mike. So let's get right into this. Which one do you want to start off with first? Do you want to talk about Thunderbolts, or do you want to talk about Andor?
Talk about Thunderbolts.
So we got more information about what was happening in the sense of whoever V's like bosses was trying to create Sentry to be like I guess you would say the replacement for the Avengers.
Yep, they want to find they said it straight in the trailer. The Avengers is gone.
Yep.
And he is more powerful than all of the Avengers combined. Which obviously this is a recipe for disaster. So as we then proceed to see in the trailer, as he just completely sends regular citizens into the void. So, again, it's the thing with the split personality for Sentry, where he can be good, but his alter ego is not.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that we're going to obviously notice as well. But I think the other thing that's kind of interesting as well is the fact of we. This makes sense because we know that the government has all the DNA of all the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the idea of creating a creature like this is not that unheard of. Granted, they're definitely not going to be like the scrolls for obvious reasons, like the Super Scroll.
I was about to say, like, I've been seeing so many comments about like how I feel bad for Emilia Clarke because she got cast as literally the most powerful being, and then they just completely disregard her. It's like,
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is, does she exist to the world?
I mean,
I don't
see,
know.
I want to say yes because the scroll invasion, they made it such a big deal of like, oh,
But
people are
but that
showing
doesn't mean
up,
they know.
but
But that doesn't mean they know everything. Because remember, secrecy is huge, and so
le-
the
I can understand it to the people though, but like to someone like in the government like her, it's hard for you to convince me that she doesn't know unless they specifically like say she doesn't know.
that's fair.
Uh,
That's fair.
like
I'm just saying because it took place in Europe that I don't know necessarily how much America knows about it. Because of who took over Emily after, I wonder if she kept that under wraps because she's also another intelligence person as well.
true. I mean, yes, that is true.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My big point I'm making is just the fact of I'm curious because the idea is they try to make somebody stronger or make something or someone, however you want to phrase it,
Yep.
stronger, the strongest being in the universe. However, that doesn't mean he actually is.
Oh yeah, obviously. I
That's the
mean,
other thing too. I mean, like just like everything else, like a lot of people say things that aren't factual, or
yep.
they assume it's right, but that doesn't mean that they are. That's the big thing. I'm just gonna say on that one.
It's a hope that will be tested once he hits the battlefield.
Agreed,
Uh,
but also too, I have to say, like visually, this trailer didn't show anything new, if I remember correctly. It was just like vocally new information.
I mean, they showed like a little bit, couple more like snippets. Like they showed a new scene of people getting sucked into the void.
I thought we'd already seen that one,
N-
so I don't know. No, no,
no,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So I'm not. All right, I'll say this: it visually there wasn't much new at the very least.
yeah, no. I mean, it was again, it was a 30-second trailer, so it's not like they showed a whole lot. It was mostly vocal, but like in the spot where they said the Avengers are gone and no one's coming back. They were sucking the suck people were getting sucked into the void. They were on a scaffolding building or skyscraper building, and they were looking out the windows and they just got sucked away. The only time we had seen that before was they were on
They
the
were
street
running.
level.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So it was like I that was like horror level kind of stuff because it's like you have hope and it's like the hope is getting taken away kind of thing, and it's like that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward. I mean, I was looking forward to this anyway. Um, I have a feeling that I know what happens because of Sentry's biggest issue is the dual personality, is that they connect to his, and I'm very hesitant to say human side, but humane side, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Hmm.
And that's how they're gonna win. They're not gonna actually be able to defeat him, obviously.
Yeah,
At least not in the stereotypical
that
like
I
we're
mean,
gonna team
it's
up.
one of those things where it's like how are a ragtag group of people like going to stop Superman?
Oh, so the whole thing is they're gonna try to do like their usual thing of blowing stuff up, and then they're gonna realize this isn't working. We got to change it up.
Yeah,
But anyway,
absolutely.
so let's talk about Andor. Andor, I'm trying to think what was different. Oh no, they did show a lot more of like the characters that will be returning and those that have been added.
Yeah, they. This one was more of a classic Star Wars feel, where it had the regular, just like regular background music going through everything, like getting ready. They Andor was talking to people about at the end of the trailer was saying, welcome to the revolution,
Wasn't it
or
the
welcome to
rebellion?
the rebellion.
I was gonna
Um,
say it was the rebellion. We're
yeah.
not gonna mince words here, Michael.
Oh,
Um,
I'll just wait 5 minutes for you to come up with something. Don't worry.
yeah, but the good thing is I do it all the time that you're not gonna remember.
Oh, I
Um,
remember most of it. I just choose to I just choose to ignore it because at this point it's like, how can I correct everything that you do wrong?
so there we are. So
I
anyway,
let you live in your bubble.
we also got to see the I want to say he's the scientist or engineer that was in Rogue One from the Empire. The one that the one I forget what his title is, but he was the one that was originally in charge of the Death Star.
Krennic.
Is that his name? I can't. So anyway, you know who I'm talking about though. He
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Director Krennic. Yeah. He was the one that was you're talking about the guy that was just in at the end got choked out by Vader.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. No, that's Director Krennic. He's the one in charge of it. He's the one overseeing it. We heard we saw a little bit more of him, if you remember, in the Thrawn books as well.
No, correct. I do remember that. I'm saying more the fact of like for a minute I thought he was in Andor 1 and I was like I don't remember seeing him. And then I keep forgetting that the reason why I'm connecting the two is because it's from Rogue One. Well, no, because it's like because
Yeah, we saw him in the last trailer too. So
did we?
yeah, I
Oh,
made
I
a
might have. No, you're
no.
right.
You made a comment about like I thought he was dead. How is he in it? And then
No, there we are. There we are. There we are. We're there. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I mean, we saw a lot of things, but also not at the same time, like most trailers. I'm
like
very
you said,
curious.
we saw more of the returning cast. We got
Yep.
like you said, we got a feel of what they're leading to, because obviously this is leading towards Andor becoming head uh,
I'm wondering if we'll see
leading the
Ray.
rebellion.
I'm wondering if we'll see Ray at all. I feel
Ray,
like I feel like not, but at the same time,
Ray, I don't think is born at this point.
yes, she is. It's five. Oh, I'm sorry, not the right person. Not the right person. I'm thinking. I keep mixing that freaking thing up. No, the Oh gosh, who's the woman from the movie
Which movie?
Rogue One?
Oh, okay.
Oh, all of a sudden.
Oh, well, now when you say it right, yeah. Now I know who
Because
you're
it's
talking.
no, because it's connected to Andor, and I kept screwing it up and mixing up the two stories.
I mean, I'm just sitting here like, Ray is not in this movie.
No,
Rogue
you're right.
One
Obviously, she's not
cast.
born.
Uh, Jin.
I wonder if we'll see her
If anything, I feel like she's only going to appear
at
at
the end.
the end, and it's going like
Well, that's
because
what I.
then
No, because it does. Because that's how the movie starts anyway, right? Isn't it like they? Isn't she?
I mean the movie starts with her doing her own thing, and then she encounters Andor down like kind because of a mishap. So like it could have been like a situation where Andor was planning to coincidentally run into her because he knew her and wanted to recruit her. But like if she appears, it's going to be
I'm
in
gonna
no
say
major significance.
no. I'm gonna say she's in the last 3 episodes.
I don't think even that much. I think it's literally
No, no,
going
no,
to
no,
be
no, no,
like,
no, no. I think you misunderstand me. The only time we're gonna see her is in the last 3 episodes. Meaning,
oh,
like at
like
at all, it's gonna be in one of those 3 episodes.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if she's going to make an appearance, but like I said, if she does, it's going to be just like very very quick.
Mike finds out that it's like the biggest plot point in the final year, and he's just feeling stupid after that.
I
So
mean,
it's a
hey,
possibility.
if it happens, I hope the story plays out well because I mean now they could talk about her too. I mean,
And
like I
wait a
said,
minute,
they
wait a minute,
could.
wait a minute, because I think I'm mixing up movies. In Rogue One, do we get the blind guy?
Yes.
Okay, okay, never mind. All right, I'm in the right movie. Well, no, because I'm mixing up. Because part of the reason is some of it is. I'll say this. There's something that I keep thinking is part of Rogue One, and although there was a similar scene with it, it has nothing like the. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the girl from Rogue One?
Jin.
Yeah, isn't her parents or her dad help create the Death Star?
I I don't believe so. No.
Why? Why am I? Then who the hell gets locked in the gosh darn trash can and like hidden from the stormtroopers?
I have to see this movie again because it's been so many years at this point. Like now you're bringing up stuff that I don't even like. I don't remember. Are you? There's a possibility because now could you be possibly mixing this up with like Han Solo because this takes place around the same time?
No, 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 no. Because because Han Solo was focused on him. This was a girl that was hiding in the. And then what's his name? The guy who blows himself up, who was also in Rebels and in Clone Wars. Um, he finds her in the bunker. You know what I'm talking about? The one Forrest Whitaker plays.
The
You know who I'm talking about. You know what character I'm talking about at the very least. But he finds that girl, and I thought that was Jin, but I keep thinking it's Rhea, even though I know it's not. But it's Jin, is it not? He gets her, and then she splits off from him.
I mean, yes, I do remember. I do remember that. I just don't remember her family being tied to the Death Star. That's why I'm. That's the kind of the point I'm getting at. I don't remember her. Like I remember him saving her, and
No, the dad was because wasn't he like bait, and she went out there to go talk to him to get the information?
again, I don't remember.
Because then he gets blown up.
Who the dad?
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I mean, everyone dies in that movie, so I mean,
Well, yeah, but I mean, he gets killed by not the Death Star. Um, which is
again,
hilarious.
this comes out. I will watch it again, and I will confirm for you what
Because I'm dead. For once, I think I'm right.
Saw Gerrero. That was the other guy. That was
No, so that's
Forrest
who. Yeah,
Whitaker.
so that's who I'm thinking of in the sense of like he finds. So the whole idea was the family is trying to get away. I think he's like a major engineer or whatever. He then gets captured by the Empire, although his daughter is safe, or saved. He then gets captured, and then he's the reason why the plans he created the plan for the loophole for the hole in the Death Star to basically cause the destruction.
It's
That's the
possible.
whole point of the movie.
Oh, yeah, they get to find the weakness. Yeah, I know. To stop it in general because they were hoping that it wasn't ready at that point.
Correct, but at the very least, the whole idea was she was mad that she thought her dad was making it, and then turns out that her dad was making it, but also making a failsafe so that way somebody could destroy it. But anyway, um, now I know for sure I'm right because I remember that piece perfectly now. So anyway, then we have to talk about Avengers Doomsday. So this was not a trailer. This was an announcement of what actors are going to, and I doubt these are all the actors that are going to be in it. However, they gave us a lot of names, a lot of X-Men, a lot of um, like we have Fantastic Four, we have some Avengers, we have most of the Thunderbolts, and Ant Man. So there's a lot of people that aren't in it. So no Hulk, no
No Hulk, no Thor, no Spider Man.
no this Thor. Chris Hemsworth was on it.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yep,
Yeah, see,
yep,
sit
yep,
down
yep.
and shut up. No Spider Man though.
Oh, thank
Um,
you, thank you,
you're welcome.
appreciate it.
Anytime. And oh, and no magical beings.
All right, I got. What do you define as magical being?
Sorcerer. So that includes Wanda, Wong.
Okay, well, do you consider Loki a magical being?
No, because
Okay,
I consider him a multiversal being now, where like he's literally time itself. So I'm gonna go with a no. I saw his name and I get your point. I feel like he's not using magic anymore. He's literally using time.
okay, that's fair. I do have a full list of the cast so far. We have Ant Man,
Yep,
Shang Chi,
yep,
Loki,
yep.
Sentry, Yelena,
Oh, that's the name I couldn't think of it. But yeah, so White Widow.
Falcon,
Yep,
Magneto,
yep,
Bucky,
yep,
M'Baku,
yep. You find it
Thor.
be so funny out of all the
It's
people there.
just out
No,
of
I know, I know, I know.
everybody.
So sorry, who was after Mbaku?
Thor,
Thor. Yep, yep,
Beast,
yep,
Cyclops,
yep,
Gambit,
yep,
U.S. Agent,
yep,
Sue Storm,
yep.
Mystique,
Yes.
uh, Professor X,
Yep.
Nightcrawler.
Yes. Specifically the Nightcrawler from X2.
Yep. Black Panther. The
Oh
I
yeah, 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 Sherry.
Namor, Reed Richards.
His name was on
Uh,
that on the list.
huh?
I don't remember seeing his name on the chairs.
Who?
Namor's.
Oh
The
yeah,
actor who
no,
played him.
he got confirmed. Yeah, no, he was
Okay,
confirmed.
continue. Reed Richards,
Uh,
yes.
Reed Richards, Ghost, Johnny Storm,
Yep.
Red Guardian,
Yep.
Doctor Doom,
Shockingly.
The Thing,
Yep.
and Captain America.
Sam
And
Wilson.
that is all of them announced so far.
So the thought is if they're going with Kelsey Grammer's Beast, right? The thought is Binary is going to be there as well.
One more time.
So Beast, the last time we saw Beast, he was in a universe with Binary.
Okay.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
You were cutting in and out a little bit, so I couldn't make out what you were saying.
So the big thing there is that means Spectrum is going to be in it as well. So there's two characters in my mind that are already going to be confirmed along with them because I know for a fact neither of those two would sit by and do nothing.
Mm.
So I'm going to go with those two will be there as well. Um, for sure, just because we saw Beast with them, and if Beast is going to be in it, the assumption being it's the same Beast, meaning like that we saw in it.
That was going to be my next comment. There's
No, no,
no
no, you're
guarantee
absolutely
that
right.
it's
It
the
doesn't.
same one.
Well, we don't. But the idea is that was the only Beast we've seen in the MCU.
Yep.
So
Um,
you would assume, and again, I know what happens when you assume, but the assumption would be that that's the Beast that we're getting is the one we saw.
Something that I've been seeing online that people are talking. Their early predictions is that because Magneto and Namor have been announced for the movie, they're going to be their typical selves and kind of team up with Doom instead of working to stop him. They're going to you know go with him.
I mean,
Which
is not
would
that
be
crazy.
would be very within their character.
No, I
Uh,
was gonna say like as I get it, and I would not be surprised by it either. I have a feeling Doom's gonna have his own version of Avengers with him. I don't think he's gonna have like the actors that played his friends necessarily, but he's gonna have like his makeshift Avengers. So he's gonna be creating his own like Doom equation or something like whatever he's gonna call it, because it's always got to have his name in it.
Yeah. Um,
The
it's just
we know very little.
there's so much still that has to be built up for this movie that comes out next year. So we have
Well,
to
the other thing
see.
too is it's like I feel like the biggest push that we're gonna be getting is from Fantastic Four. I think the Fantastic Four movie is gonna be the biggest connect to Doomsday.
That's going to have to be something that we're going to see, just because, I mean, right now the big threat in Fantastic Four is Galactus. So we have to like, my big worry for this movie is that they're going to be, because we haven't really been building up towards it. We've just been going about the multiverse. Like, the biggest difference between this and the Infinity Saga is that after every movie, it's like, oh, he's lurking, he's lurking. Granted, we haven't had a chance to build up towards him because the plans changed because of Kang. But since Kang got ousted, it's kind of just been in limbo. So now it's just like, oh, what's going on? How are we building towards this? It's kind of,
Well,
we've
we can argue that technically we got our first taste of the build up with the leader telling us about the multiverse and how some Earths are not like ours. And we're gonna get
unfortunately, that's something that we've already known and seen. So it's like,
no, I know, but my idea is they're now building it up where it's not Kang anymore, in the sense of because everyone else was kind of leaning towards the Kang issue, right? Where now we're getting away from that, and it's just the worlds in general. And he basically was talking about Secret War, whether he knew it or not. So this because there's going to be a battle
unless
of
you talk to Marvel and it's like, oh, is that it was actually talking about some what was it that they came out and confirmed that it was actually supposed to be a um oh god, it was another group of heroes that it was actually hinting at them, or
oh yeah, I don't
group
remember.
of villains.
Doesn't matter.
And everyone was like, absolutely not, you guys are you guys are
Oh no,
wrong.
it was the Illuminati.
Yeah.
No, it was the Illuminati, and that wasn't anywhere correct.
It's like, you're wrong, Marvel.
Well, the other reason, so the other thing too is it's like, okay, so the other thing is there's no way Doom would call his group the Illuminati. So if they do that, I'm gonna have a huge problem with that because Doom is so self-centered that it will literally have to have his name in it or else it doesn't exist. And I mean, to be honest with you, that is a Doom thing like you would not believe. He is so self-centered and
Hmm.
everything else that he I would be okay even the dumbest name possible, but the Doom Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that sounds stupid, but I'm even like I would be okay with that because he put his name on it.
yeah, yeah.
Hell, I'll even take the Doomers. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, but my point I'm making is just the
Yeah.
fact of like it's meant because he doesn't want anybody else's name on stuff. He will do that without a
Yeah.
problem.
Yep. He wants to be the center of attention. So
Right.
yes, I get it.
But yeah. So anyway, I mean, we're gonna see what happens, but I don't know. I'm I'm on your side in the sense of like I'm worried about like I'm excited about it, but I'm also very worried about it.
Yeah. It's just there's so much that still needs to be kind of gone over, and because we haven't gotten any information about it at all, having a set date locked in already for next year is just like, wow, I can't believe we're here. Like, at least it's just such a different play out between Infinity Saga and the Multiverse Saga, because at least with the Infinity Saga we had a clear cut to that point, whereas in this it hasn't exactly been a big build towards it yet.
Right. No, I'll
We've
agree.
like we might have gotten small hints, and as I just said 5 minutes ago, is that it's not entirely their fault because of the shift from Kang, but
But even before that, they were having a difficult time kind of expressing it because, like, Doctor Strange shows what happens when two worlds collide.
mhm.
We then are assuming that the Fantastic Four's world is going to have an incursion. Oh no, what's it called?
Incursion, when the planets collide.
Okay,
That's incursion.
we're under the impression that that's what's going to happen to their universe. So then they have to leave. Um, That's the assumption anyway. And so we have that, and then it's I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I based on the movies that are being released right now. You know what I mean that we know of.
Yep.
Fantastic Four makes the most amount of sense to have the biggest tie-in to the movie. That being
Yes.
said, that does not mean we could get one for Daredevil for all we know, where their portal opens up and he gets grabbed because he's been chosen for the war. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
realistically, I mean, like I'm not saying that it's impossible that these other things don't have anything in it. I'm more of getting the fact of Fantastic Four makes the most amount of sense because you have the smartest man in the universe, plus you have the literal world eater who
Yeah.
is a multiversal threat.
I mean, in general, I mean, they've been announcing from the beginning that the Fantastic Four was going to be a multiversal team, which they are. So
No, I
it's
know, but I'm just saying
uh,
in general. That's the point I'm making.
it would it's just the thing is because they've already hinted at Galactus, which is just again, which something that we've also talked about because Galactus has always been seen in the MCU as like this is the end of
Well,
the MCU.
yeah, but I think it is the end of that universe, and I think that's the point. Because like the idea is it's the end of their universe, and so that makes sense for them.
I'm curious because if they are a multiversal team, they would have been making precautions to prevent their own universe from from getting it stuck in the incursion.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there because they're so new to it. So they're more advanced than the other universe, obviously. But remember, even though this is a different timeline, it's still the 60s. And
Yeah,
so space travel just happened, which means now they're thinking of space time travel. Okay? So they're still at the early signs of it in the sense of like, when you think of it like this, right? Reed Richards is the smartest man in the universe. Nobody's questioning that, blah, blah, blah. He still needed space travel before he could do time travel. And they
yeah.
just did space travel in this universe.
We are also in the assumption that they themselves have not been time traveling. You're assuming that they are because if you remember you said this takes place in the 60s. Space travel they have in the very first trailer they had the poster of Neil Armstrong in the background, which means that this takes place after that, and space travel was 69.
You know what?
so
Yes.
so how would they already have the poster of it? You like that small little detail, so that means they themselves have been around.
No, I understand that. I think the point I'm making is even with Reed Richards' vast knowledge, it's still going to take him time to create time traveling in the sense of because they just got space travel.
So I get I so I'm not
I'm
saying I understand what you're saying. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm
I'm
telling you
saying
how.
that they already have the time traveling and they have been time traveling. That's what and they're just at the moment in the 60s.
I don't know. That doesn't. I don't know. I mean, I guess that would make sense because then the worlds are colliding and they're doing it inappropriately and they don't realize it. That's a possibility.
That would make sense. Yes.
I don't know. The way they made it seem was I didn't think they had made it to time travel yet, and they were going to be able to do it at the end to then get them to the multiversal
Could also
point.
be. It's just the way that things lined out. I took it as I took it as they already had time travel because they're a multiversal team. They've been established. They are an established team, and they've
No,
said that from the
yeah,
beginning.
they are established team.
So because of that, they already have their nicks. They already know what they're doing. They are time traveling, and they're just at the moment in the 60s, and they were in
Oh,
just playing a part to fit in.
did you hear the rumor of what might be the end of the movie
Which movie? Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four?
No, I haven't.
So the thought is Sue Storm is pregnant,
Oh, I think I did hear that actually.
and Doom is supposed to take Franklin Richards away, the son, when he grows up.
Yeah, I think I did hear that rumor. Yeah, that's crazy.
And remember, Franklin Richards has made Galactus his herald before, so just
Mhm.
have that thought in your head about this boy. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that because they've been very much because she's a very thin woman in general, the actress, and she's got like a bump in a lot of the things, and the way she's like shown, like her hand is kind of like on her belly a little bit, not clear cut, but the thought is that she's pregnant because they're married, and what do you do when you're married in the '60s? You have kids. Um,
I mean, then that would be a good tie-in for the fans. Then for Doomsday. So I mean,
no, absolutely,
you
but
got your answer right there.
no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that was my point I was making, is just that. But all right, let us move on to Jessica Jones season 3. I liked it. I know you talked about it. You definitely liked it more than season 2, but you still didn't boost it up as much as you had thought. Excuse me.
I mean, it was good. Like, don't get me wrong, it was really good, much better than season two. I think out of the three seasons, I still liked season one the best. Um,
Well, that's just because Kilgrave is just the best villain.
oh, I
I
mean,
hate
of course,
I hate saying, like, although I will say, like, they did a really good job of giving a character similar but also different at the same time in season 3, like,
yeah.
meaning, like, sociopath and everything else. Like, they did a really good job of that. However, like, you really can't compete with Kilgrave.
No, I mean, Kilgrave was such a great villain, and because uh, the sociopath, yeah, like he could figure he knew how to manipulate people and obviously torture people, but Kilgrave literally did it against their will, and that was like the perfect guy to want to die. So it was
Well,
like
that was
they,
the whole thing, and, like, for him too, it's like it was effortless. It was just like, I speak and things just happen.
yeah, and it's like this still had the mix of like I kind of feel bad for him because you don't know if he's like legitimately like I can't control this and I'm not meaning to, or whereas this one is just some guy that just really wants is like sick and was able to get away with murders for 30 something years with his best friend and brothers and whatever.
So my question for you: Do you remember? Did you ever see that scene in a clip of her punching the ground?
No.
Oh, so I've seen that clip so many times. Granted, it was after I saw it because I saw it when it first came out.
Mm.
But I just remember seeing that scene so many times of her, like, flipping over the gazebo and punching it, that I saw it out of context so many times I forgot when it was gonna happen.
So every scene you're watching is this going to happen now? Is it going to happen now?
Yeah, and then this one I was like, oh, I remember now. Now we're here, and no. So this season was so good. I loved Hellcat, um, which was Trish.
Yeah, no, I've been saying it since season two. Like she was pissing me off the entire time. Just like, and obviously it was the power corrupting her and wanting to be the center of attention and wanting to be the hero. So like
Well,
I
also,
understand how
so
she
I
got to where she
all right.
was.
So I'm gonna say this. It was a combination of that, but also the fact of, like, her having not dealt with her anger.
Yep, that too. I mean,
Um,
she got with her issue with her own personal issues. It builds up, of course.
and
Um,
then I'm not gonna lie to you. They did such a good job of Dorothy's death that,
yeah, they really
like,
did. And I liked that backstory that we actually that we actually got, and I thought it was interesting. Obviously, the abuse on her daughter was not, but like in the will, Jessica realizing that she actually did care about her, and it wasn't like with just the simple thing of leaving her the chair. Where
well,
it's like,
that, and also all the little girls talking about how great her mom was, and it's like, when she, and I hate saying it this way because it's gonna sound really bad, but, like, when she didn't have to worry about money, like, meaning, like, if she when she was actually doing, like, a job for people, meaning, like, for those little girls, she was doing the best she could to help them. And
mm-hmm,
granted, I think in her weird mind she was trying to do the same thing for Jess and for Trish, but because she was in control of them technically, because she was the parent,
yep,
she did a lot worse to them than she could ever do to the other kids. And I'm not saying that she wanted to do bad to those kids at all, but I think it was just like somebody said it, and I cannot remember who said it, whether it was just Dorothy, or I know it was what Dorothy says, but I don't remember if it was Dorothy that said it or if it was, like, somebody else reading something she said. But it was the fact of, like, we don't want she didn't like wasted potential. If she put her time and effort into speaking with you, it's because she thought you had a gift.
mm-hmm. I think I
I
feel like
want
that was Trish.
at the funeral, right? Like
Yeah,
that's what I thought too, but I wasn't positive, and that's
I'm
why
I'm
I
not 100%, but that it kind of rings the bell where it's
no
like the
agreed,
scene
but
makes sense.
I didn't want to say that just because I was not 100% sure. But
Yeah,
anyway, so the idea of her just being like where it shows like she treated Trish poorly, and I she definitely knew it. I don't think like Dorothy ever hid it, because even Jessica said it too. She's like Dorothy knew what she was. Like there should have been no secrets because she knew what she did and was okay with it. You know what I mean? Like she lived her truth in because the whole idea was that guy killed people who were lying, and Dorothy was one of the few people who I mean, she lied, but like she told her truth too. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but it's like her lies were different, and so like that was the weird thing of the whole thing.
I mean, again, I don't really see her as lying. Like even still, like they
No,
said,
it's
like
but
they
but no,
said
but that's my
Jessica
point.
said it. It's like, why did you go after Dorothy? She never lied, and he said it. He's like, I only went after her to get to you.
No, correct. But I'm saying,
So,
but you get my point of making. And then I love the fact that he put the photo in the in the scrapbook just
oh
next
yeah,
to Trish.
just
Um, I will say too, the thing that I loved about this season that they did a very good job of is the back and forth of showing like what happened through Jessica's eyes and then what happened through Trish. I
yeah.
thought was very good because at first, the first time I saw it, I will say this, like when it first happened, I was kind of confused a little bit, and then once you realized what was happening, it didn't bother you, and it was perfect. Meaning, like you were getting both sides of the coin.
No, yeah, I thought they did a good job with flowing.
No, they
Like
did. They did.
for me, I wasn't confused with it, but I mean,
Well, no, remember, I'm talking about the very first time I saw it. I mean, the
I
second one.
no, I understand. I understand. I mean, like, this is the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm giving you my first time reaction. um,
It's 20 years later. Um,
this is about me, not about you.
all right, Dorothy. Um, so
um,
no, so I will say this: that, and then the lawyer still doesn't get what she wants, which is hilarious. She
I,
gets to
I really liked the character that she played in this. It
so good. Oh, she was
she
such
is
a
such a perfect person to hate.
yes.
And it's like without fail, because it's like every single season it's like, oh my god, she's finally making progress, and then she does something to screw it up. Because it's like you have to make things about what you want instead of what's for the betterment of the world. Like, why would you go defend that idiot?
No,
Like,
only for personal reasons. Like Jessica said it best, where it's like you only want clout. That's it. Like you
yeah.
only want the press of this to begin with. Um, and then I also like the idea of that guy hating supers. Like he
Mm,
hates the enhanced, and that they're cheating, which I find to be interesting.
yeah.
Because I also think he's supposed to be. I think he's technically an enhanced as well, just because of his intellect.
Oh, okay. I mean, that would kind of make sense if that's the case.
But remember at this, I think in this point, intelligence isn't um like a superpower. I know that's stupid to say, but I mean like the idea is I think at this time in our world, like having you being intelligent was not like a superpower. It was just like like just some people had it. I know it's weird to say, but like you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't necessarily
Agree. No, I
agree
know.
with it.
No, no. But I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying, but at the thought process at that point in time was the thought of that not being the case.
The only reason I like uh, is
Every
the
person you're gonna say has a superpower.
has other powers with
Yeah,
it. That's why.
that's the issue. No,
Yeah.
no. But you get my point. I'm making. I am not stating, right, that it's not a superpower. I'm agreeing with you on that sense. But I think during that time frame, like intelligence was by itself not a superpower. Even
Uh,
though I would agree with you that it is.
the only reason the only reason I'm disagreeing with you for the main reason is because at that point in time, because of the MCU and because of DC, uh, more eyes in terms of the comic book world, it became more like relevant. It started like really picking up, and it's become a lot like you look at it now, like everyone's a comic book fan,
Yeah.
whether they want to admit it or not. So like the idea of, oh, you have to be true to the comics has become a lot more prominent. Whereas if this came out in the X-Men days, I would have said yes, I 100% agree with you. But
Oh, okay.
because it came out when it did, it's like it's this show only came out 5 years ago. So I because it came out in 6 years ago. Sorry. um
Wait, was it or was it? I thought it was.
2019.
It was after Endgame.
I'm pretty sure because we were talking because that's when the Defenders Saga got canceled. 2019.
I feel like it was before that, but I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong.
Well, either
No, no, no.
either
You're
way.
right. You're right. No, no, no. The last. So it was released in June of 2019.
Yeah. So I mean, at that point in time, people have become more like aware of comics and like what all these things are. So the intelligence factor, I like that's why I disagree. Just because if this came out in the 2000s, yes, but because it's the 2010s and the close to the end of the
Well,
2010s, I disagree.
I'm gonna argue because when you look up powers and stuff like that, it's under abilities and it's not under powers. Intellect. When you look
Uh,
up, like when you look up.
Powers and abilities. I mean, I kind of
Well, no, no. Meaning like, let me rephrase it this way. It's like it's the same thing with like, um, hand-to-hand combat and things of that nature, where it's things you train. It's not something you understand what I'm saying? Like they put it in with they rope it into like weaponry and everything else. Like,
I guess it kind of depends on the being that you're looking at as well,
well, all right, you know what? I can agree to that. I can agree to
because
that.
if you're gonna say Brainiac, his thing is intelligence, like that's his superpower. So it's
Oh,
like,
no, no, no. I agree with that. No, no, I agree with that. I think my point I'm making is the funny thing is he's saying he's not a superhero yet he's super intelligent.
no, yeah.
He's
But
kind of hypocritical of it.
we went off on a different tangent about whether intelligence is a superpower or not,
He
and
also was really good villain.
no, he was. I mean, he was definitely a constant. This entire season, he was a constant thorn in everybody's side, including like he was a good thing that to always go back to when someone else's drama finished. I really liked the other guys. The
Yeah.
Chris, no,
No, I know who you're talking about though.
um,
He's basically the radar.
yeah, the bad guy Radar. Um, but I really liked that when he was helping Trish, and
But
as
what
he's
about
helping Trish,
he?
his radar goes away and then starts coming back because
Trish is there,
she's losing it. So I loved that.
and I love that when he gets closer to her and he starts to bleed, she's like, "This is a trick. This is definitely a trick. There's no
Yeah,
way."
yep,
Um,
100% in
so
complete denial.
I will say this. Can All right. So you know how she tried on a bunch of different costumes.
Yep.
Do you know which one is her comic book accurate costume?
Oh, which one was it? Because there was at one point
Oh no,
where
she makes it a point
she
to like
makes made a comment that it was like she's looking in the mirror and she's like, hell no. And I'm
well
like,
because
that was the comic book one.
it was because the idea is she's Hellcat, so hell no was the joke. So yes, so that was her actual first costume ever in the comics. Obviously, we got it for a split second. She also wore Jessica Jones's jewel outfit for the first for a time as well in the
Yep.
show, like while she was trying on costumes. I thought that was kind of funny. Um, a lot of cat themed stuff. Um, Overall, I thought it was really cool. The fights between her and Jessica were awesome. Um, and I love that everyone's afraid of Trish.
Yeah. I mean, it
No,
was
no, for legitimate reasons. For legitimate reasons. Malcolm had a great storyline. I felt.
oh yeah, no, he was a great redemption arc. Like like just him losing his way and then like realizing this isn't right and coming back. Oh, that was great.
No, 100% agree. Um, the one sad thing is we didn't get the oh, what the hell is his name? The guy on the first floor, the super. Is it the super? No,
The guy on the first floor.
Yeah, he was in season 2. Her boyfriend that they weren't together anymore in this season.
The manager.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
oh the he was he wasn't a super.
No, not a super being. I meant the super of the building.
Oh,
No, sorry,
that's
sorry. No, I knew what I meant, and that's my fault because of what we were talking about. My apologies. You know what I meant though now.
yeah. Now I understand, but
But yeah, he
I
didn't
was
have any superpowers.
he didn't have super. Oh my god, I'm my apologies. That
No,
was
I will say this. For once, like I was actually making sense, and it would just makes me laugh that you were like, "What?"
I really loved her new secretary. Like she
Oh,
was so great.
perfect, perfect. I also like the fact that you need to here's the some um Purell because gas pumps have E. coli. She's like super immune system, and then comes back. She goes, "I'll just take this just in case," because because at the time she doesn't have a spleen, which is even funnier.
Yep. No, that was
Um, no, she was incredible. She was honestly, she did her job so well.
oh yeah. No, she was great. Um she no, it was she had great comedy. She like the constant like back and forth between
Her and Jessica.
her
Well,
and Jessica.
her and everyone. To be honest with you, I just also love
Her and Malcolm was just like the like she felt threatened when he
she's
comes
like,
back.
she goes, "Oh, had I known we had disposable income, I would have asked for a raise." Um, that was hilarious. But I also like the fact of her being like, they want this stuff done, and Jessica just looks at it. She goes, she has no comment at this time, and honestly, this is very hurtful that you would even ask such a thing at her time of loss. And like, she said nothing of that. She just looked at her, and she just knew what to say, and it was perfect.
Yep.
Honestly, one of the underrated characters, I have to say, she was phenomenal. Um, Dorothy,
Yeah.
another one was a character I was not expecting to actually sort of like a little bit.
Yeah. No, she played she like again one of those characters you didn't expect to be an important role, and even though she wasn't like a mainstay of the episode of the season, she was still
It
an
was her
important
essence.
role.
It
Yeah.
was the essence of her character that played a major role in what was happening, which was huge. Um, and then obviously, I mean, Trish, we got the villain arc for her. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Um, and then she's technically in the raft, so she still does exist.
I'm curious if Jessica Jones gets reintroduced into the MCU, if Trish will come back and how if she's going to be redeemed or if she's
Does the raft still exist?
why wouldn't it?
Where did Harrison Ford get put in? Was it the raft?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think he did get put in the raft.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, because I wondered if they gave I wondered if they made a new prison. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was
Oh
asking that because I couldn't remember the name that they gave it. I I know they said the name and I couldn't for the life of me remember. Um, because if so, then there's a definite chance we will see her again. I mean, if she wants to come back, obviously.
yep. He is. Yep. I just looked it
It's
up.
the raft.
He got put in the raft. Yep.
Okay, so the raft still exists. So there is the possibility that we'll see. Oh well, there's also a lot of people in the raft that we don't know exist. Also, I mean, like the leader was in there for a while.
True. True. I mean, our heroes were in it at the end of
Civil War.
Civil War, so
True.
it's been around for a while.
No. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just, well, that's how Trish went into it was because of the raft was made before, for Civil War to be. Well, I think it was probably before that,
It
but
was made before, but
but it was widely used at that point.
hmm
But yeah, so I mean, there's the possibility of her being back. I mean, again, she would be a street level villain, which I wouldn't be a problem with. Well, she would be on the same side as Punisher, technically.
yeah,
Again, I'm not saying like verbatim the same, obviously, but like the idea is it's like vigilante, but like obviously a killer. Because
yeah,
like
yeah.
Punisher, at the end of the day, he is a vigilante, but he's a killer as well.
Yep.
We just like him better. Um,
It's just like like you can differentiate between the two,
Oh, for sure.
but they have the same mindset.
Agree. Agree. But no, I loved this season. It was good. Um, we're only gonna rank the series, Mike, not the seasons. But I know you've done both. So bottom of my list was Iron Fist.
Bottom of my list is Iron Fist season 1.
I hate you so much. But anyway, no. So I will say this though. Originally, I thought Iron Fist was going to be so far below everything. It was actually a lot closer than I thought.
Like if it, so in terms of, like, again, this is why I want to break it up into seasons, because the difference between season 1 and season 2 is a big difference.
Agreed. Agreed.
So like season 1 was absolutely the worst season out of the entire series. But season 2 definitely redeemed it a little bit better. So if we're like, in terms of like ranking the seasons, ranking the shows as a whole, Iron Fist is still at the bottom, but because of season 2, it's not as down below as it would have been if it,
No, I
you know.
got you. So for me, all right. So I'm just gonna do mine, and then you could do your season thing. Mine, it's Iron Fist. It's then the Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
It's then Luke Cage,
Yep.
and then this is where it gets tough because I went Punisher, I went Daredevil, and then so Daredevil and Jessica are like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think Jessica, and again, and I told you this, that the difference between Daredevil and Jessica Jones for me, even before watching it the second time, was personal preference. They were both
Yeah.
very good.
I mean, that's
Um,
fine. I mean, for me, if I'm ranking it as a season, mine is basically the same, except I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna put, it's Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica,
okay. Oh,
and
all right. So you say Jessica's below Punisher?
yes, and that is because season 2. If I'm looking at it as a whole, like Punisher, I liked both seasons. Daredevil, I liked all 3 seasons.
That's fair.
Daredevil, like, no doubt about it, that one is my top one. Like, all 3 seasons were great, and
Which
it
is
just
hilarious because
continuously got better.
can we talk about how the beginning of this Mike was like I couldn't get into
I
Daredevil.
couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
And now it's his favorite show ever to exist. Oh my god.
But like, that one was consistent. Like, there was
That's fair.
like, that was the one thing about it, is it was consistent all 3 seasons and improved. Punisher, like, same thing with me. It was like both seasons were phenomenal. Like, I didn't have an issue with how it ended, like a lot of people did. So like, that one.
No,
uh,
I have to agree with you too. It ended a lot different than I remember, and I don't remember, like, it's weird. I thought it ended like really bad, and then I watched it and I was like, that's not bad at all.
yeah, like,
It
I
was actually
really,
like a legitimate ending in the sense of like, okay, I'm actually okay with this.
yeah,
Um,
like, it had a like I had said before, it was like, if they decided to continue it with the season 3, they could have, similar to season 1. But if not, then there was no loose ends.
I'm gonna say this is the difference between the three for me. So it's
Oh yeah,
obviously Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and then Punisher.
yeah.
Punisher's slightly below only because it, although it's a good show, it's not my preference of a show. That does
Yeah.
not mean it's still not good. Obviously, it's in my top three. I'm
Hey,
just more getting of like
yeah.
it's a preference thing for me where it's like
No, it's the same. It's the same thing with
yeah,
Jessica for me. I mean, like,
absolutely.
Jessica was a great show,
But it's
but because season 2 just kind of felt like pointless to me, that, and as a whole, that hurts it for
no, and I
me.
get that, but I also think too, and this is I don't want you to take this as an insult, but like the detective piece, and maybe not the detective piece, but like the the aura of the show is not normally what you like necessarily, in the sense of I think you liked more of like the Punisher type shows and like the Daredevil type shows, and I'm not trying to say you only like violence. I'm just stating like it's a preference thing where you can appreciate the
Oh
shows and
yeah,
how
no, no,
great they
no.
are, and I'm the same way, but like you have your preference, and it's not that type of show.
Well, no, I'm not, and I mean, I kind of disagree with you, and like, I definitely not saying that uh Jessica, in terms of the preference of the show, like, sure,
No, you're just saying
the
it's season two that was the problem. Yeah,
yeah,
right. Yeah,
because I was looking at it as a whole, because I liked all 3 seasons of Daredevil.
okay, so then my question for you is the difference between Daredevil and Punisher is between you. I mean, for you. Is it
Uh,
preference? I mean, again, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm asking honestly because, like,
no,
for me, it's like for me, I liked all 3 seasons of Daredevil. I liked all 3 seasons of Jessica. And then obviously I liked all seasons of Punisher. But like for a preference thing, I did it in that order because they were just definitely well written shows in the sense of overall. You know what I mean?
I think honestly, it might have been that one in that case might have been a little bit more preference. I
Which again,
think,
I'm not trying to insult
yeah,
you in any way. I'm just
no,
saying, like,
I
I
think,
think because once it gets to like, and we talked about this before, like with last year, like when we did our ranking of last year,
yeah,
like we knew what our top three were gonna be, but like it was gonna be preference only.
oh yeah. Um, I think, I think the thing with Daredevil, I think looking back, kind of drew me in a little bit more emotionally. I could tie into the character a little bit better. Season one of Punisher was great emotionally.
Oh, I agree.
Season two was a little bit more lackluster in that sense because he didn't have as much to lose. Whereas in season one, like he was losing his best friend, he was dealing with his family, which he was still dealing with that in season two, but it wasn't as big of an impact as it was in season
Well,
one.
I think this was also was supposed to be showing too in it's not so much you ever get over it, but it's like the idea of the ball bouncing in the room. Like
Hmm.
the ball never goes away, but it depends how you look at it. Either the ball gets smaller or the room gets bigger. A lot of
Yeah,
people like to say that the room gets bigger because that way it doesn't diminish the ball because the ball originally starts huge and starts bouncing around. You feel it all the time, and then as the room expands, because life happens, time happens. Although it's still an impact, it's less often
yeah,
because you have other things going on. And the idea is like that's what we kind of see in season two, where it's like it's still there, but it's not like it was in season one. And again, that doesn't make it any less traumatic or anything else. It's just the way life is.
yep. Um, but yeah, I mean, like the season with Daredevil, it's just one of those things where each season got progressively better. So it like there's not many instances where you can say season three of a show was the best. You know, there's a lot of instances where everyone says the first season is the best and it just goes downhill after that. So, or even season two, you know, to
And I
continuously improve
mhm.
is that's an accomplishment.
No. I'm not gonna argue that. You're right. I'm also gonna say too, like they did such a good job where it's like they were also so different.
I'm sorry.
The seasons were so different.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like meaning like season one was obviously Daredevil taking out Kingpin, and then season two was Elektra.
Elektra in the hand.
Yep. And then season three was again Kingpin, but I would argue it was although yes Kingpin, it was more Bullseye. Granted,
Bullseye and Kingpin.
why I'm saying that is just because the idea was although Kingpin was pulling the strings, his biggest obstacle was Bullseye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bullseye was his weapon. So, I mean, it was, you know, once he got past the weapon, he could get to the, you
No, that's fair.
know,
But no, that was yeah. And but I do like I honestly will say though what I did not remember was the fact that Matt never wore the Daredevil costume in season three.
yeah, that one threw me, took me for
I
a
know
loop.
because I remember seeing the costume and I thought there was at one point where they both wore the red suit and fought each other, and they never did.
No, not
No,
once. That was something.
so they were showing all like the different costumes of Daredevil and what we're expecting. Did you see the look of what he looks like in season two of Daredevil Born Again?
No,
There was a
no.
leaked photo, and I don't know how true it is, but it's a black suit with the red double D on his chest.
Oh, making it. Yeah, I think I actually did hear that, and they were saying if this is true, like people were a little disappointed, but at the same time, it was one of those things where it's just because something can be comic book accurate doesn't necessarily mean it should be.
Well, we're
Uh,
also under the impression that it's real, also. Like the
yep.
possibility of it not. Because they've been. Marvel normally keeps things under wraps for that stuff until it gets closer.
Yeah.
Like they'll release stuff like, oh, on accident we accidentally showed him on set. Oh, like they did with like Foggy and everyone. Like, oh no, they're
Yeah.
here. Oh,
Yep.
whoopsies, we forgot that they were there. And then 15 minutes in, they no longer are there. I'm still hurt by that. I don't think I will ever financially or emotionally recover.
Until he
Uh,
returns in season two.
well, you've heard the stories of that too, in the sense of like people are thinking it's going to be like super comic book accurate, where
Hmm.
Vanessa had him fake his death.
I mean, I personally, that's one of those situations where I like, why announce they're going to come back? Like, that should have been something that's kept in secret. That would, like, this is how it is in today's world, where because people have
Wait,
such low.
is he announced for season 2?
Him and Karen are announced in season 2. Yeah.
Well, it could be flashbacks technically.
That yes, but obviously because of the comic book ties where he went into hiding, it is possible. Like,
No.
but so like
You're
even
absolutely
still,
correct.
that's one of those things where into like because fans have no patience anymore and can't sit through things. They studios have to announce things to get peak interest. And I think for me, because I'm willing to be patient and be surprised, it diminishes the overall product. If you're looking at me because I said I'm willing to be patient when you're the one who can't be patient at all and expects everyone to drop everything in a second to get what you want done. Yeah, keep silent. Yeah, keep silent, you.
I'll remember this. I'll remember this because you know what? Every birthday who doesn't show up, it's all right. I show up to yours. It's fine. No, it's fine. No,
Hey,
it's no.
hey,
It's
no. You showed up to my birthday last year when I wasn't included.
Honestly, it was your best birthday. It was by far the best one. Honestly, I suggested it again because it was a phenomenal time.
That was so funny.
You were actually pissed with you.
What's funny is that we were debating to do. I remember this is that it was between Friday or Saturday, and ended up doing Friday because that was the.
The day you normally don't work, or you normally don't.
No, I had asked for it off, and they declined me. And it was because people couldn't do Saturday, and then Friday was the better day for everyone to get it.
Yeah, but I also feel like you had a warehouse issue too. Like, didn't you also have a warehouse issue where like the trucks didn't come in appropriately either?
No. My boss. I had asked my boss. I said, "Hey, can I have Friday off? People have been at, is it possible?" And I was told, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. And then they turned around and said, "No, you can't get it off. I'm sorry." So I had no choice because a truck ended up coming in. They thought maybe there wouldn't be a truck. But then it turned out that people ended up not being able to do Friday. I think Shane ended up not being able to do Friday because he wasn't able to do Saturday originally and was able to do Friday, but then something happened where he couldn't end up coming on Friday and was free on Saturday.
Yeah, but it was me, Chris, and Bardo.
Yeah.
At at your place of work at Home Depot, being
Yeah.
like, "Hey, like, hello."
Actually, no, it was you and Chris, and and Bardo was running around the store yelling for me, and you went hunting for him.
That's right, because he literally kept yelling where he was, and then he couldn't find him because he wouldn't sit still, and he just kept running. And I'm like, "What the hell? Like, where is it? Where is it?" He goes, "I went to the bathroom section." I went, "No, the bathrooms, not where the toilets are." He goes, "Well, that's where toilets are." And I went, I'm like, "The ones you use is the customer." And he goes, "Well, you would buy these and use it." I'm like, "I hate you so much."
and then you ended up finding each other being back to back in the lumber section,
which again
is in the opposite side of the store.
What kills me is though he said he was. So I go to the bathroom section first, and he's not there. And he goes, "Oh, I moved over. I went this way." And I went. I'm like, "Great, now I gotta look for him because he can't even tell me what direction he went in." And I had to hunt him down. I finally found him and dragged him over there. And then he was like, "Okay, so we're gonna just pick him up and drag him away, aren't we?" Of course, she wasn't your. Oh no, she was your wife at that time. Duh.
That she was.
I know. I for some reason I thought it was. Anyway, doesn't matter. So what kills me is he's like, your wife was really excited in the sense of like, Bardo was like, "I say we just pick him up and take him away." And she's like, "Yeah, I think you should." And then Chris was the one to be like, "I don't think that's a good idea."
just sorry, I got kidnapped. I can't come into work today. I was so pissed too because I could have taken that night off because by the time I got into work, like the truck was almost done. I was so mad.
Well, that's kind of anyway. So that, like I said, it was a great birthday. But yeah, no, I get it. So apparently, I only think about myself. I get that. No, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I disagree, but okay. I think of others. Sometimes. Um, jerk. Anyway, he basically just called me Hawthorne, and I'm pissed off.
Just you were so the silence, you not knowing what to say.
The thing is, the original thing I was going to say was, I mean, honestly, it was going to be about my birthday, I was going to say something that was actually not related to you. It was technically Shane, so that's why I stopped myself. Because it was my 30th. You had told me to begin with you couldn't go, so it wasn't like I was surprised you weren't there.
Yeah, I mean, you told me about it, and then
No,
but he
you
said he was going, and then never showed up.
No, he didn't say anything. He completely just didn't say a word.
Oh, I thought he said yes. I know Bardo ended up canceling because he couldn't, and he told you that he was sorry.
He felt awful. He did like the day of, and he was like something came up, it was so he told me later it was like a family issue that wasn't a family issue, like his usual stuff in the sense
Yeah.
of like that was the issue with his whole thing,
Yeah.
and he had to deal with it then. Which again, not that he had to tell me anyway, but I mean like I figured that if he's calling me day of saying I now can't go, like it was a legitimate reason. Like I'm
Something
not,
important. Yeah, of
correct.
course.
But anyway, that being said, let us move on to
Yeah,
Daredevil.
we had a perfect segue for Daredevil, and then we started talking about how you're selfish and only think about yourself.
My birthday's ignored every year.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. I know I'm not.
Hey, at least I say happy birthday.
I say it to you.
I didn't say you didn't.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I was just saying, at least I tell you happy birthday.
No, that is true. And the only reason why you remember is because it's around the same time as your dad. No offense. I'm not trying to insult you. It is a legitimate thing.
It's a
And
good tie-in for me.
and to be honest with you, the only reason why I remember yours is because it's tax day.
Yep. Hey, you're one of the few people that actually remember that.
No, that's the only reason. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but that is legitimately the only reason why I remember.
No, you'd be surprised. Everyone is like, it's the same day as tax day, and it's like the 14th. No.
No.
No, like
The
15th.
Like, don't get me wrong. Technically, the tax day is not always the 15th if it falls on a weekend.
Yeah.
But the idea is it's always the 15th.
The day, no matter what, is that, but it could because of
Just because of not holidays, because of where it falls in the year. But anyway, so yeah, so Daredevil starts. The first episode of the release was St. Patty's Day Bank Heist, which I thought was actually incredible.
Oh, I love that. I loved that Irish
we
tie-in.
We also both agreed that this was the most comic book episode.
Yeah, most comic book-esque episode. Absolutely. Yep. I loved that he could still be Daredevil and not need to be Daredevil in terms, like, I know I had talked about this a little bit yesterday and you weren't really too sure how I meant it, is that he was able to adapt. Yeah, he was able to adapt, and like he couldn't just go in with the mask and punch people. He had to be more sneaky and be more he still had to be himself and use more of his mind instead of just go in and punching things. He had to plan it out.
Correct. And then we also get Kamala's dad, which was also it was a cameo I was not expecting.
I loved the dig because he had a little bit of legal troubles himself, and Matt was like, "Oh, have you ever needed a defense attorney?" And he was like, "No, never." I chuckled with that. It's like, wow. Do you know of the issues?
Oh, so the actor, yes.
Yes.
But but not the character. You're right. No, I did. Yeah, that is a funny little dig at that. I mean, I always loved his character, but seeing him in a serious show, because we've only seen him in a comedic role. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was still pretty comedic in this.
No, he definitely was. But what I'm saying is, but to have him like in a dramatic show as this, you know what I mean? Like again, it wasn't like it's not going to be like the greatest show. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my point I'm making is, it's like seeing him in that was also a nice contrast too, because he's still not used to this.
Like, oh yeah.
And like clear as day, and his daughter is literally a superhero.
Yep. I loved. I was seeing comments because obviously we're jumping towards the end where he invites Matt to family dinner. I've been seeing so many comments as like Matt is the greatest superhero because he's the only hero who's ever been invited to two family dinners as a thank you, and I'm like,
It is true. It is
I'm
true.
like this. It's such a you could go from being so serious and like a bloody bath of a show and so brutal to then just being so fun and goofy. Like
And I
they're
think, but I think and I think what they're really doing here, and it's such a good thing, is like everyone's little world, like their little minute world, is different, but the overall world they flow so well together.
yeah.
I mean, it's also a testament to the actors as well. But no, I love this scene. I love that the Power Rangers were there. You know,
Yeah.
I was so bothered by the colored masks, but whatever. Um, I literally the first thing I thought of was like the worst Power Ranger cosplay ever. Um, well, because I didn't understand the idea of why they went with color, like different colors. But I guess it was to make sure everyone knew who each other were.
Yeah. They have their roles and they didn't want to mess it up.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Like you understand what I mean. Like I just was like surprised by that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Matt taking out the guy in the bathroom and the guy at the vault was funny, but also awesome. The interaction between the leader in green and the negotiator was incredible.
Now I have a question. Uh, when she first got introduced, did you think that was Yuri from the Spider-Man games?
So I'm not gonna lie to you. That's who I thought it was supposed to be, and then they said her name and it wasn't that, and I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to
I mean,
believe it.
obviously it's a new character, but when I first saw her, I was like, "Oh, this is Yuri," and then
Well,
they
because
said
it's
her
a
name,
huge
and it
tie-in. Because
wasn't.
the idea is, but I wonder if they can't use her.
That. Yeah, because it's a Spider-Man title, they probably cannot use her because of legal rights.
No, that's more of
But
what
she
I'm
is
thinking.
also I mean, if I am not mistaken, Yuri is a Spider-Man game original character, right?
I don't think so. I
Oh,
think she's part of the comics.
oh, is she? Oh,
No,
let
I
me double
believe she's
check.
part of the comics because she becomes somebody. She becomes a superhero.
Oh, okay.
Did you find it?
Uh, I mean, so she's Wrath.
Yeah, but
Uh,
you see her in the comics though. You're
yep.
gonna have to look.
Okay. So Wrath is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She was introduced in 2009. Yep.
So,
Okay.
and I think she falls under the contract with Spider-Man technically.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those weird things where it's never really truly clear on who falls, like what classifies a Spider-Man character. Because realistically, if you think about it, technically Doom was actually a Spider-Man villain before the Fantastic Four.
It's yeah. I know.
No,
It's
but you
tricky.
but
It's
but
tricky with comics
but
because
you
it's
under,
like
no, but you
yeah.
understand my point. It's like I don't know what classifies as it. You know what I mean? And that's what throws me off because like there's so many characters who have so many influences with other characters as well, but
Yep.
but I guess they're still considered a blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Yep.
classified as this.
I mean, it's like if you look at it in terms like from a DC standpoint as well, it's like you have Brainiac, who's a Superman villain, but yet he's also a Justice League villain. You have
Well, so
Darkseid, you know.
no, no, it's more. I will get away from that because that's a team up and Superman's on that team. So I would focus more on like
But yeah, you're like looking at it individually as well. Yeah.
yeah. So
DC, I
like
think, kind of keeps it a little bit more clear cut, where it's like this belongs to this one, and this one belongs to this one. Whereas Marvel is just kind of like they interchange, especially in the street level side,
yeah.
because there are just so many street level heroes and street level villains that anyone who's around can just like, oh, I'm gonna come save the day at that point in time.
Well, think of it
You
like
know,
this: like Captain Boomerang, his main villain is the
Flash.
correct, but he's gone toe to toe a lot with
He's
Batman
also good. Yep, Batman
because
and
he's because
Oliver Queen as well, I believe.
okay, that I didn't know, but I'm not surprised. But the
Yeah.
point I'm making is I'm using those two because they're like, no matter what, because when he's part of the Suicide Squad, it's mostly Batman. Not
Yep.
to say he doesn't get involved with the Flash still, but the idea is that so it's like, but he's still classified as a Flash villain.
Yeah. I mean, like
Um,
Lex Luthor, Legion of Doom. You know, it's like you can interchange, and he kind of like just Yeah, it's one of those weird things.
No, I know. But
Um,
anyway, but you're right. DC has a harder time with it because, or has an easier time with it because they really classify their villains better.
Plus, a lot of I feel like a lot of Marvel heroes are just are located in New York, so like everybody is in like one location, whereas
I mean, you're not
whereas
wrong.
DC is like, this is my city, this is my city. You know, it's like
No, you're correct. I mean, Central City, all that stuff. No, you're correct. But anyway, so yeah, so the bank heist was awesome. The joke was so stupid but funny. Um,
it was one of those things where it was so bad that it made the guy laugh.
correct. And I also like that he dressed up as a police officer to get out of there. Um, who do you think is the boss?
Honestly, I have no idea. I like
My,
I wanna say like it's probably like it. Yeah, I really don't know.
I'm saying it's Vanessa.
Oh, you think?
Hmm.
Yeah, so like I wasn't okay. I wasn't gonna say Vanessa. I was kind of thinking Kingpin in terms of like the organization. So, but I was like, I don't really know how like leading into it.
No,
But
I'm thinking it's Vanessa. Um, I think it's Vanessa because she's trying to get her husband to the way he was before,
mhm.
and she's that's my guess. That doesn't mean I'm right, but that's my guess for right now. And then so the episode ends with Matt Murdock putting the diamond into Kamala's dad's candy dish and then
Yep,
leaving.
because apparently one of the hostages in the bank heist was actually a plant, um, which was but like I didn't expect her. Like honestly, like out of everybody, I don't know why. I didn't really have a thought of who it would be.
I didn't think there was a plant.
Yeah,
Like that was
like
my point of the sense of like I didn't think there was a plant, and then they said that, and then they showed her,
mhm,
and it was honestly like the least likely one out of them all. Like it would have been the last one in my mind because, and again, it should have been obvious because they did show so much time with her with
mhm.
all the other like
Yeah,
hostages, but like I didn't put two and two together.
I honestly really liked the interaction between the couple and Matt, and how he would like. I actually was like nervous. Like Matt is pushing them, and he's going to end up killing them because
Yeah.
he's arguing with them. Uh,
Well, especially with a show like this, like they where we should be expecting death.
yeah,
So like the idea that it didn't happen was a shock in and of itself, but I think the idea of him telling everyone he's Irish, and then the
yeah,
fact that he's an orphan and blind, like the guy was like, I gotta keep this guy. Like
yep, yeah.
this is one of those awful jokes.
I liked Matt in the stairwell when he was the guy that was leading him to the bathroom. That that fight in terms of he was basically fighting handicapped more so than he normally is, because he had to beat him without him making any noise, and like he couldn't drop the knife, he couldn't drop the gun, like he literally choking the guy out while reaching for the gun that's about to fall down the stairs and make a ton of racket. Uh, Again, it was one of those things where like Matt improvising in terms of what can he do without the mask.
Yeah, this gave me a lot more Bruce Wayne vibes, which I liked because Daredevil is kind of supposed to be like that version, like that.
Yeah, he's essentially Marvel's Batman,
Yeah, yeah. No,
just without the money.
well, I was gonna say without the Bruce Wayne piece of it. I know that's weird to say, but like without the well, I mean like without the money, without the billionaire. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, so that was good. I loved. I don't know about you, but I was actually getting pissed off with the guy with Kamala's dad kept dropping the key.
Oh, I was like, they're gonna ruin it. They're gonna get caught.
And like Matt's like being like, no, it's fine. Just take your time, man. It's okay. Like we got time. And in my mind, I'm like, you don't have time. Stop screwing this up. You have one job. The blind guy's doing better than you. Like figure this out. Figure this out. Yeah, I loved everything about that episode.
I loved the cameo of Miss Marvel. I loved Miss
Oh
Marvel's
no,
cameo.
her flip through.
um, and I know I mentioned this to you yesterday, but I'm hearing rumors that because of the Spider-Man controversy with you can't use him for TV rights too much, that it's possible that they're turning Kamala into the street
Street
level
level.
hero that everyone's going to be turning to, because everybody loves her. She's a people person, and
And she's powerful.
and she's very powerful. And at the end of the day, it makes sense as well because of the Registration Act. She's in a mask. It would and she's a mutant, so it's a good way to tie in mutants and tie her into the story because of what overarching what's going on.
No, I'm, I agree. I mean, the whole thing is, it's like, it wasn't their original plan, but it kind of works better
Yeah,
based on where they're going. It's not that I don't like Spider-Man. It's just it makes a little bit more sense because of the direction that they're going.
I mean, it would have worked with Spider-Man. It just with Kamala, it works because they could add in the mutant factor.
Because I was going to say she is legitimately a mutant. Like,
Yeah.
she's been defined as a mutant. But anyway, now we got to talk about episode 6. Yeah.
Yep.
We got to see Muse in action, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think the part that bothers me the most is his beanie. Like, don't get me wrong, the guy is terrifying, and I will not question that whatsoever. But with the fight scenes with the beanie, it looked a little ridiculous. But I get it. Like, it works. It works for what they were going with. But like,
I didn't pay too much attention to that.
I could not. Because it's like,
I was about to.
When he gets hit, like, you see it go in the other direction because that's how physics works. But it just looks so weird.
Oh. I was gonna make a smart comment because I didn't know where you were going with that. So I was like, listen, he's in the subway. It's cold down there. He needs a little bit extra warmth. And now you were talking about like the fight scenes and the movement and.
Because honestly, I don't think I registered he was wearing a hat until the fight.
Oh really? Oh no, I noticed that from the beginning.
I don't think so. I think I was so focused on his eyes, his beautiful red eyes.
I mean, that makes sense.
So anyway, we find out from sanitation that the murals are made with. First off, that scene is hilarious because the guy is saying everything but the blood, and we just see Wilson Fisk just sitting there going.
It gave me old time Italian vibes so badly because it's like you got to go through a whole story of everything instead of just getting to the point. It's
and Wilson's trying to be so nice about it too. He's like, is there a point to this story at some point?
It is like is
And then
like...
he goes into detail with such emotion. And she's like, tell him the thing that you told me. Oh yeah, it's made out of blood. And like the most, like, he is so like deadpan for that, where it's like there was more emotion with him talking about how he had to scrape it and get a sample and everything else. 60 bodies though.
That's insane. What was it? 68?
No, 60 and that's just an estimate. It's at least 60, and there's more that they're pretty sure that can't be identified yet, but they're going with 60.
Oh, okay. I thought they said 68. All right. Yeah, either way, 60 or 68, that's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of missing bodies that just like, oh, we can't pin it.
And then we find out that he's made a mural out of everybody. So Punisher, White Tiger, I believe he definitely did one, excuse me, for Wilson Fisk.
Yep.
And then he did one, I believe, for Daredevil, or he hasn't done one yet.
I think he's going to do one now that Daredevil's come for him.
Well, also that Daredevil's back, because remember, Daredevil has been gone.
Well, yeah. I mean...
So anyway, so we have that, and then... and he killed 2 girls, which I was expecting, but also not.
Which is just so funny because they go up to him and it's like, "Oh my God, are you Muse? We're such big fans." And then you just hear screams. It's like, what was in your mind?
Like, well, I think what's weird to me is the fact of like he's a known artist, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone on the street knows him,
but they don't know what he's doing.
But like, yeah, it's just bizarre, and I wonder if he hates the name. That could also be the thing too.
Oh, possible. Yeah,
it's not his name, technically.
Yeah,
it's one that people have given him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he then kills those girls and puts them up against the mural, and looks like he cuts their eyes similar to what his eyes look like. But I don't know if
I didn't pay too close attention to their eyes. I just saw their body was mangled a little bit, and that was...
So yeah, they were mangled, but with their eyes, there was damage done to the eyes. So, like, I don't know if something... Like, obviously something had to be damaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where the damage ends, and then it was just blood dripping after. But it was, like, the the red down here, which is very similar to Muse, and
Yeah.
then what I would assume is a blood trail
Yeah.
down. Because I at first I thought it was like cuts, but then I realized it must have been like the blood pooling here and then dripping down.
Yeah.
But they basically made him. He made them look like his face. That was the point.
No, they I can understand that. So
I also love Fisk being like, "Wow, the police suck," because it's sad when sanitation finds out about a 60-plus murder spree, and the police have no idea what's going on.
yeah. I mean that one is a big and now like obviously now he's going making his own task force
Correct. And what I also like
of
too is,
all the corrupt cops.
but can we also talk about how when he talks to Vanessa, how he's like, politics are a new thing for me, but now I'm learning that it's not so different than what I'm used to. Like you find out what they want and you either take it away or you give it to them.
Yep.
And it's like, and then she's like, yeah, but you can't do that tonight. Like these people are money
These
lazy.
people are control the city. Like these are the real ones in charge. Like you can't mess with them.
Yeah.
And I loved going through that and how Wilson is actually trying to be like a good politician and getting funding for his projects, and they were all every single one of them was like, no, no, we don't trust you. We
No, no, you only want to make more money for yourself when we should be worried about the money we make.
yeah,
And it's
like
like it is typical, and I get that. But like this is the one time, and I know you just said this, but like Wilson being like a legitimate politician. And I'm not trying to say he hasn't in the past. I'm just saying like this is him like doing what a politician would have to do.
yeah,
And it's just like, and Vanessa's like, this is gonna suck, and he's like, yeah, I know.
yep. I liked that they actually were pretty. That this is the first time where we've seen them both go out in public and actually be together at a public
Well,
event.
I think it's also because with the therapy and everything else, and they're talking more. I think she's having a better understanding of what's going on with him,
Mm,
and I think she's realizing now that he wasn't trying to stop her from being better than her. He was trying to stop her so they could have more power together. And I think that was her
okay.
misconception. Because he was gone for so long, and like we hear
Yep.
that a lot, obviously.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she built the company. Oh, I'm sorry, she built the business. I apologize. Higher than it ever had been, and so she was like, "He's taking this away from me because I'm doing better than him," and it doesn't sound like that actually was the reason. Like
No.
he legitimately wanted to get out of it because he wanted a better life where he didn't have to worry about crime anymore. But I think he's now realizing like he still has to be a criminal in some way to be able to get what he wants done.
Messed up to say.
But also like him being a politician ruined his arc. Like really, like he can't be a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he actually tried to be, and I got to give him credit for that.
Yep.
But yeah, so we had that going on. I also loved the dichotomy between the two fights. So it was Wilson Fisk versus well, technically it was Kingpin versus Adam and
Yep.
Daredevil versus Muse.
Yeah. I loved that parallel. It was
So
it
good.
was we've said it before about how Kingpin and Daredevil just parallel each other, and this scene just like brought it back. Just they both realizing that they can't be different. They are who they are, and they need to be who they are.
Mhm.
Um, it was such a great scene. Both, I mean, obviously Kingpin was just toying with Adam because
But I love the axe. He's like, I heard you would go to your hands. Here's an axe.
yeah, and like here
It's like,
that this way it's a fair fight.
and I'm like, so you know what's sad when he was talking about that? You know what I really thought he was gonna do?
You thought he was just gonna kill him?
No, I thought he was gonna chop off his hands. Because
Oh,
I
okay.
my first thought was he's going in there to chop off his hands because soon as he says, "I heard you got nice hands," and then was proceeding to then chop them off. That was my first thought. And then he gives him the axe, and I went, "Okay, not what I was expecting." And then we talked about this yesterday, but like I'm 99% sure that Adam's dead, just because of the amount of times the bricks broke off this guy's head. Um,
So I don't think he's dead because I saw when we saw him when we threw him in, I was like, okay, he is he dead? And then you saw his hand twitching. So I was like, okay, I think he's still alive because only because his hand was moving.
Okay.
But I mean, he was throwing around the bricks. He like Kingpin punched him to oblivion.
Oh,
So
when he pushed him into the brick pillar and then the bricks in the back break off, I was like, this guy is dead. I mean, I'm sorry to
yeah.
say it, but like I mean, no way did I think he was going to stand a chance anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, oh, can we also talk about how they made Kingpin fat for some reason? Like the man lost a ton of weight for this series, and then they made him feel fat because he ripped his suit.
Oh yeah, okay.
Remember how we talked about how
yeah,
he's lost weight and then
yeah.
oh, I guess I'm fat.
No,
What's the fat? Where's the fat?
I know, right? I mean, they still wanted to keep him comic accurate, I guess.
That was my thing where it's like that was the only thing that threw me off.
Yeah. No, that one I was like, okay, what is the point of this? like,
because I'm like he literally lost weight for this role, and I don't think he necessarily did it on purpose or whatever. But like he's definitely thinner than what he was.
oh yeah,
in the original Netflix series. So like him calling him, in fact, he looked thinner than when he was in Echo too.
yeah. Absolutely, he's been losing weight.
Yeah,
so I mean,
like he's been working out to get himself ready for Kingpin. But you get my point I'm making. I was just like, I don't understand the point. That was the only thing that I was like, why? Anyway, so yeah, so we had the fight scenes, and then Muse gets away.
Mm-hmm. And I really like that they're already introducing the other White Tiger.
Well, yes and no. So
like we're leading towards it.
No,
her taking the mantle.
No, absolutely.
Aaliyah, was that her name? Ashley?
Yeah. No, it's Aaliyah.
Aaliyah?
Alana? No. Hold on, because she's technically the White Tiger.
Yes.
In the comics, she's the White. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because
I know that it was originally Hector, and then he dies, and it passes the mantle.
No,
yeah, he's the first White Tiger. But she is the prominent one because he gets killed off.
Hold on.
I'm holding with bated breath.
Hold
your fire.
Hold. All right, so she was introduced in 2011.
Okay.
Yep. No, so I'm right. At the end of 2011. So hold on. Let me look at her uncle. Oh. Okay. He was introduced in 1975.
Thank you.
Wow. You know what? I only think of her
because she's the main one. Like he was
Ava.
like. Oh, Ava. Oh yeah. Okay. No.
I kept trying. Yeah, no, it is Ava. I keep thinking of her last name, which is why I for some reason think her last name is her first name.
Hold on. Are you sure it's Ava? Because the post I'm looking at in Marvel Comics, White Tiger refers to a mantle passed down through a family, with Hector Ayala being the first to use the name, followed by his niece Angela Del Toro, and later Ava Alea. Ayala, however you say it. I can't say it. So
hold on.
Hold you.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the third White Tiger. So the second White Tiger is Angela Del Toro, and she was introduced in 2004.
Okay. So, yeah. So right now they're introducing Angela, and we.
Oh. His wife becomes the White Tiger at 1.2.
Oh, that's cool. Is that Ava?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. That's weird.
Interesting that it went backwards.
Technically, I don't think Ava was supposed to ever have it. It was a time where Angela gave it up.
Oh, and then they needed someone to have the mantle.
And then they both had it, and then they fought each other. It's a whole thing because you have to have the Tiger God, and the Tiger God has to approve. It's a whole thing. Basically,
okay.
Realistically, all joking aside, think of it like Moon Knight. It is the Avatar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of the amulet. Yeah.
Again,
whoever holds the amulet is the White Tiger.
Yeah, but the amulet also has to be okay with you using it. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
I loved that Angela went to Matt looking for help, and it's like he wants to help, but he wants to do it because he's done being Daredevil, and it's that again that conflict of because I it's so good with this character arc with the White Tiger in general because they're all talking to his alter ego, and he's trying to suppress the alter ego. Um, it's just so beautifully written at this point. Like it is. They're
And
doing
yet and
such
I
a
think
great
the other
job.
thing too is none of them know he's Daredevil,
Yeah,
which is what makes it
there's
even
only
better.
one person in this whole group that knows, and it's the other cop.
Well, he's not a cop anymore.
Is he? But he still has his connections.
No, yeah, he's retired. Because remember,
Yeah,
he retired a year ago when
yeah,
Foggy died.
yep. But
Oh wait, I think we also saw the Asian cop during that scene too, during the retirement. She was at the retirement party.
oh, what? Where? Really?
I think she was talking to the. I think she was talking to the guy
I'll have to watch
who
that
was
first.
retiring.
I'll have to watch the first scene again because I don't remember.
I'm almost positive now that I say that they were talking. It was her and him before Bullseye, like while Foggy and all them are like drinking.
Yeah. No. I know who you're talking about. I just don't. I know he's talking to someone. I just don't. I can't picture the face right now.
No, I know, but for some reason that's what's clicking in my head, and I'm like, that's not what I was expecting. So we did see her before.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway,
Um.
but no. So we now have to deal with the fact that we're going to have the vigilante task force, and the fact that Muse is free.
Yep. And he's going to be coming for Daredevil because he went after him. Um. Angela seems to be the only one who's gotten away from Muse. At least that's how it's. I mean, with how many victims he's had, it seems like not many people have escaped.
You saw what was above too, right? All
I,
the bodies being hung on hooks.
oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So the idea is they're alive.
Oh, they kept alive.
Well, yeah, he needs paint, so yes.
Okay.
I mean, how else are you going to keep blood being made? You keep them alive.
I mean, I just assumed that he would go out and get new victims.
No, when they die eventually, yes, but he keeps them alive for as long as possible so he can keep using their blood.
Also, the reason why I didn't think that they were alive is because of the fact that in the last episode where he took the other victim, he just killed him off and disposed of his body. So that I was seeing those bodies were just like important memorabilia to him. So uh he was just keeping them as a
No,
trophy.
he's got two different types of victims. The ones he used for his paint and the other ones he uses for puppets. And when I mean puppets, I mean like
Yeah, it was.
he uses them to make a living mural, even though they're dead. But
He
meaning
uses them. He was using them for what?
like he makes them like taxidermy almost to
Ew.
like he put because one of the big things he does in the comics is he gets a bunch of Inhumans and kills them, and then puts in and then literally puppets them into like doing mundane tasks to show like they're not that special. Like the idea was he was doing it for an art piece, so like he's gonna do the same thing with other bodies. So he has the bodies that he uses to make art with, and then he has others that he uses their blood for artwork, and it's two very different artworks.
Yeah. Now I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, that's
So yeah,
disturbing.
so no, it 100% is, 100% is. He's not somebody you want to meet, obviously.
Yeah, that's for sure. You don't want to go up to him and being like, "Oh my god, I'm a huge fan."
Your work on White Tiger was phenomenal. I mean, how did you get the red to turn white? I mean, it's incredible.
uh,
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna definitely be seeing that in the next episode. Um, we're also gonna be seeing Matt be Daredevil again. Like
yep,
meaning like
he's
he is
officially.
officially gonna be Daredevil. I mean, I think for the rest of the season for sure.
It's crazy to think what. It's crazy to think that this show was originally very different because remember when they originally wrote it, they scrapped it and rewrote it because it didn't fit the vibe of what the show should have been. I've been hearing a lot of people that it was like that basically from episode 3, because the show was originally supposed to be 6 episodes, and it was originally from like episode 3 on, and people are saying that they just kind of added the first 3 episodes to give it more depth. um but I'm curious, obviously, like what really was going on that required that reshoot, and what just something like I wonder what the show was originally supposed to be.
I don't think we'll ever
um
know, obviously, but I get your point because it'd be interesting because it's so good. Like, and the fact that they were able to know that it was, and again, that doesn't mean it was actual crap like the first right. It just didn't fit what they were going for, and
yeah.
so they changed it. So I'm curious at what that looked like. But anyway, we're going to be seeing on what happens there. But we're going to get into a character spotlight with Mike. While he does that, I have to go put a new load of laundry in. But I'm literally right here, so I'm not going to be going away.
Okay, you like to leave during my spotlights. I really bore you that much, man.
No,
Like,
no, to be fair, normally stuff's going on, and this one's easy in the sense of I'm just putting the stuff in the wash to the dryer and putting another thing in. So I'm not going to be gone that long like I was the last time.
here, I'll
Well, at
just
least tell me who it is. At least tell me
that's
who
what
it
I
is.
was about to say. That's what I was about to say. So apparently, because I know you loved this so much when I was doing this before. Apparently today is National Doctors Day. So, so I'm introducing just a mundane doctor character from the DC universe. Uh, Her name is Leslie Marin Tompkins.
What is she even
Um,
from?
sh- she's from Batman. Detective Comics.
Yeah, but fair. Wait,
Yep.
okay, is she still permanent today?
Uh, kind of
Okay,
like, but
keep
I'll
going.
talk to you later.
I'll listen.
All right. So, Leslie Tompkins was a supporting character for Batman. She was first introduced in March in the Detective Comics in March of 1976. Um, she Oh God, Scott has my echo. He's got too close to the computer. um, so Leslie Tompkins first made her appearance in which she was depicted comforting a young Bruce Wayne the night his parents were murdered. Inspired, she dedicates her life to helping slum kids avoid a life of crime. And every year on the anniversary of his parents' murder, Batman visits Leslie in Park Row, which is referred to as Crime Alley. Um, at this point, though, Leslie does not know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Um, Years later, Leslie is portrayed as having been a close friend and colleague of Thomas Wayne, and she takes it upon herself to look after Bruce after his parents are murdered, and is often a supporting family member to Alfred. Um, she is kind of just next in line as caretaker for Bruce. Um, in a Batman issue in 1984, a costume cop killer named Wrath dies in combat with Batman, and Leslie comforts Wrath's grieving girlfriend, much as she had Bruce. And she eventually, after this instance, she learns that Batman is Bruce. Quick recap.
Oh no, I heard most of it up until I put the dryer on. So I had known that they had like she had seen Bruce at it when he was
Oh,
at his worst, and then she dedicated her life to make sure that young youth didn't go into a life of crime.
oh wow, okay, that's you got loud headphones.
No, I cranked it up to 100 so I could hear it while I was doing it,
Oh
and then
well,
I put it
that's
back to normal. No, but as soon as I put the dryer on, there was like a 30-second miss I did get, but I got the gist of it so far.
I don't know if you heard this part, but she kind of works with Alfred to look after Bruce.
Okay, that's the piece I didn't know. Okay, well,
Um,
that's the only piece I missed, I guess.
Rath's girlfriend, she is her name isn't important. I can't say her name. Her Rath's girlfriend becomes a close friend to Leslie, and at one point protects Leslie from 2 attackers who fear retribution that she might bring. Leslie, once finding out that Bruce is Batman, disapproves of his vigilantism and feels partly responsible for his transformation because she failed that she wasn't a good enough role model for him, so he had no choice but to resort to vigilanteism. She runs a clinic for criminals and drug addicts in Gotham City. And while the majority of her patients are repeat offenders, she continues to do her job with great perseverance and determination. During the No Man's Land storyline, she runs Gotham's only medical clinic, operating under a strict no violent policy, and her patients follow it to a T. There are even there are big name criminals that end up going there, and they know her policy. Like Killer Croc, he respects her policy and respects what she's doing, despite who he is. After the No Man Land storyline, we find out that she actually has a brother whose name is Jeremiah, and she asks Jean Paul Valley to go find him. And so Jean Paul Valley is the first person to take the moniker of Israel. I don't know if you remember him from the Arkham games.
Not off the top of my head.
He's like that medieval looking knight that kind of just like wants to be Batman.
Oh,
Israel.
No. I got you. Yes. Now I know who you're talking about. Sorry.
Stephanie Brown, who herself is a vigilante as well. She is known as her hero name Spoiler, and she kind of goes after trying to stop her father, who is a criminal mastermind himself. While in a fight with Black Mask, she suffers serious injuries, and Leslie brings her to her clinic where she treats her. And while there, Leslie believed that she died, but Batman discovers that Leslie believes that she had made it seem that she had died by accident while under her care, but later Batman found out that she deliberately mistreated her so that way she would die, because she wanted to teach she was hoping that she would teach Batman a lesson that his constant use of children as crime fighters was putting him in unnecessary danger. After this, her assets were liquidated and given to Stephanie's daughter, and she flees to Africa. Batman follows her and forces a confession, coldly informing her that he may not stop violence, but he had never thrown another body onto the pile in the hopes of making a statement. He warns her that she is now just another murderer in his eyes, and if she ever returned to the United States or practiced medicine again, he would bring her to justice. A mysterious familiar figure was later stalking Tim Drake wearing Stephanie's Spoiler costume, which at one point Tim thinks he imagined to be Stephanie herself. The stalker indeed turned out to be Stephanie, and it is revealed that Leslie faked the girl's death and switched the body with an overdose victim who had a similar body type. And there's an issue as a special show that came out in 2008 that depicts Leslie and Stephanie alive and living in exile in Africa away from Batman. In another issue called Batman Battle for the Cowl, Leslie Tompkins has once again set up shop in Gotham, attempting to start over and continue to help the unfortunate. She gains the Cavalier as her bodyguard and has, along with Barbara Gordon, begun helping a former associate of the Teen Titans named Wendy Harris deal with the loss of the use of her legs. Leslie has been welcomed back warmly by Alfred and Dick Grayson. Tim Drake, however, maintains a frosty attitude towards her due to her actions regarding the Stephanie situation. And just so you know, Wendy Harris in the Teen Titans is known as Wonder Dog.
Okay.
In the New 52 reboot, Leslie Tompkins appears younger than she is usually depicted. She is featured in Jason Todd's flashback as Red Hood, and she took him into her clinic in Gotham City after he was beaten by Joker. At the office of Child At the offices of Gotham's Child Services, Killer Croc makes a violent entrance, startling Leslie and demanding that Jade be returned to him so that he can give her the things he never had. And Leslie admits to Killer Croc that she had been returned to her family. And finally, in the DC Rebirth series, Leslie had a secret clinic set up in an abandoned building previously used as the base by Israel, where she is treating his injuries from a bombing earlier in the story. She is shown to disapprove of Batman's plan to get teenagers involved, meaning that Team Batman and Batwoman had assembled. She was not a fan of, again, because she doesn't like the fact that he recruits children. Tompkins is later attacked and apparently killed after being infected by Joker toxin before the events were revealed to be a simulation. And that is the last time we see Leslie Tompkins in the DC universe. So you had asked if she is still around. Technically, she is. We just haven't seen her since.
But also not.
Yeah.
Like, she is, like, she's not dead, but that doesn't mean she's doing anything.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was interesting. And yeah, I love so much that you connect all those stuff together.
I didn't know who else to do. There was no like big thing for DC, so I was
to
like,
to be fair, there will get to a point where it's not like there's anything really happening, so I get it. But anyway,
we'll have to see what happens because this week.
Before we say anything else, I did want to say this. Have you seen Jason Momoa do press tour for the Minecraft movie and talk about Lobo?
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Apparently he was getting ready. So we don't get to see him in full costume, obviously, but he has a picture in his phone of it, and he's like, "Oh, I got to show you this." And his PR person came out and was like, literally came out in the interview, was like, "Do not."
It's like, no, don't do that. You can't do that.
I guess I can't do it. So then he started saying some of the lines in the sense of like what Lobo says in the comics, and it was perfect.
Oh, that's good. I'm so excited for that.
Because there's a word he uses that's supposed to be bitch, but it's not pronounced that way the way he says it. Biznitch? No, it's like it's something. If you look up a Lobo in the comics and him saying it, it's supposed to be that, but it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something else. But it's clearly like for
Let
the
me
readers.
See. Lobo's catchphrase.
It's like
I don't see anything.
No, I'll do it. Ready? Lobo swears.
Lobo swears. While you're looking at that, yeah, this week on April 2nd, so Tuesday. No, April 1st.
Yep.
April 2nd, we are supposed to be having a big DC reveal that's going on. So we shall see what's going on with that. It is called it's at Cinecon. They are going to be showing more for Superman. So we're finally getting like a big first look into that. What is it? Sorry, it is not April 2nd. It is April 1st. So it is Tuesday. So next week we'll hopefully have some DC news to go over.
He says frag a lot, but that's not what.
Yeah, he does.
But that's not it. Hold on, I'm almost there.
Almost there. Almost done.
Okay. I guess it's not the word I was looking for. Okay. Anyway, that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We are made it further than I expected. Next week we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Daredevil.
Bastish. Yeah, I looked up his catchphrases. He says, "Time to liven up the joint." Oh, time to liven up the joint. Sorry. Yep. They don't call me the main man for nothing.
Yeah, but I want
Wo-
the swears. I don't care about the other stuff.
Wogo, Bastich. You're welcome. Your
Because
face,
I
okay?
think it's supposed to be a combination of the two words combined.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, who's the main man? Frag. Smile, dipshit, and butthole.
Yeah. But anyway, so next week we're going to be talking about any trailers that come out, Daredevil, and then a character spotlight for me, and that's going to be it. It's going to be potentially a short episode next week, which will be a nice little break for Mike and I. And then we'll come up some new things after that. But I think after that, Andor starts, or no, not yet.
Andor's at the end of the month.
It's at the beginning
You,
of. Oh, The Last of Us.
I was gonna say you had mentioned you wanted us to cover that. So
Yeah,
if
we're
you
going
want
to.
to, so if that's the case, I think that
But that's
comes out. That comes out April 12th, I believe.
yeah, it's still the beginning of the month, but not like right away. So I think we'll give ourselves a week of. When I say a week off, we're still going to be on, but we're going to have an easier time to talk.
Yeah, it'll be 1 week of really nothing.
Which I think,
April.
and I
Let
think
me
we're fine with that. To be honest with you, it gives us a little bit of a break, mentally. So for now,
let me
anything.
let me see when that starts because that comes out
Mike's so slow.
April 13th. So we have 2 weeks of rest technically, unless you want to cover that on the same day that it comes out because it comes out on a Sunday.
No, because I think it comes out at night.
It probably will come out at Sunday at 12 at Sunday at 9. So if that's
Yeah, so no. Just because I know it's not going to be an hour episode, it's going to be longer than that.
no, their episodes are usually about an hour. It was kind
No,
of
but the
like
season premiere was longer.
oh,
Like the
okay.
series premiere was longer. So like
Yeah,
yes, you're right, but like the first episode was the longest, and I'm assuming they're gonna keep that trope.
no,
Um,
in that case.
yeah, I mean I'm okay with 2 weeks. I mean we'll probably come up with something to talk about for the following week, just to add a little extra. But for next week we're not. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a break to kind of because we've watched a lot of stuff, and
Yep.
I don't know about Mike, but I definitely need a mini break.
No,
Um,
yeah, that's for sure.
but
I'm
I think for this week we'll keep it the same in the sense of just Daredevil.
having one thing to watch is nice.
Correct. And then next week we'll the following week we'll figure something out to add to it, but we're only going to add one thing, and we'll figure it out. But we don't need to do that right this second. So for now,
We'll see
um,
when it comes.
yeah, make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, there's going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.